Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the helm of the UES Archimedes, Earth's flagship supercarrier, as it prepared to make humanity's first official contact with the Galactic Council. At over 30 kilometers in length, the Archimedes represented the pinnacle of human engineering and military might, though its true capabilities remained carefully concealed behind stealth fields and sophisticated sensor masking. Final checks complete, Admiral. Commander Rodriguez reported from his station. The diplomatic delegation is ready in the ceremonial hall, and our escort fleet is in formation. Chen nodded, her expression neutral despite the gravity of the moment. Humanity had spent decades preparing for this day, methodically building their fleet while monitoring alien communications. They knew the various species of the Council considered themselves the supreme military power in the galaxy. Today would change that perception forever. Very well. Begin our approach to Nexus Station. Maintain current stealth protocols until we reach the designated coordinates. The massive carrier moved with surprising grace for its size, accompanied by what appeared to be a modest escort of 6 destroyers. In reality, 3 additional carrier groups lurked at strategic positions throughout the system, hidden from conventional sensors. Aboard Nexus Station, High Counselor Zixtal of the Meridian Collective watched the approaching human vessels with mild amusement. Such a small fleet for a species making first contact, he remarked to his fellow council members. Though I must admit, their ships have an interesting aesthetic. Our analysis suggests their technology is at least a century behind the council standard, added Council Security Chief Venna, her crystalline form shifting colors as she spoke. The larger vessel appears to be their flagship, though its energy signatures are puzzlingly low for its size. The human ships drew closer, and Zixtal prepared to deliver his carefully rehearsed welcome speech. Humanity would be offered associate status within the Council, as was tradition for emerging spacefaring races. They would be expected to pay tribute, share their resources, and gradually earn greater privileges over centuries of loyal service. The first hint that things wouldn't go according to plan came when the Archimedes dropped its stealth fields. Warning alerts blared across Nexus Station as the supercarrier's true power signature became visible. Energy readings literally broke the station's sensors, forcing emergency recalibrations. The escort destroyers simultaneously revealed their own masked capabilities, each displaying firepower equivalent to a Council-heavy cruiser. Impossible, Venna whispered, her crystalline form pulsing with alarmed crimson hues. The energy output, the weapons systems, their technological level. A communication request came through from the human vessel. Admiral Chen's hologram appeared before the Council, her uniform crisp and bearing the insignia of the United Earth Fleet. Greetings, honored members of the Galactic Council. I am Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth Fleet. On behalf of humanity, I come to formally establish diplomatic relations between Earth and the Council races. She paused, allowing a slight smile. We look forward to productive discussions about humanity's role in galactic affairs, as equals. The Council chamber erupted in shocked murmurs as tactical displays showed 3 more massive power signatures decloaking at the system's edge, the hidden carrier groups revealing themselves in a carefully choreographed show of force. By the void, Zixtal breathed. Those are all carriers. Indeed, Chen confirmed. The Archimedes and her sister ships represent only a fraction of humanity's fleet. We believe in being transparent with potential allies about our capabilities. The implied message was clear. Humanity would not be entering the galactic stage as supplicants or tributaries. They had spent generations preparing, building, and advancing in secret. Now they were ready to take their place among the stars, not as subjects, but as equals. Venna's tactical analysis flashed urgent updates across her consciousness. The human carriers weren't just warships. They were mobile industrial bases, capable of producing fighters and smaller craft at an unprecedented rate. Their energy signatures suggested propulsion and weapons technology far beyond Council standards. And their sheer size. We would be honored to begin diplomatic discussions, Sixtol managed, knowing the Council's carefully constructed plans for absorbing humanity had just been utterly shattered. Perhaps we should adjourn to more comfortable chambers. As the delegation prepared to board Nexus Station, Chen allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. Humanity had learned from studying countless species that fell under Council dominion. They had chosen a different path, building in secret, advancing their technology, and emerging only when they could do so from a position of strength. The next few days would reshape the galaxy's political landscape. But for now, Chen was content knowing that humanity's first steps into galactic society had sent exactly the message they intended. Earth and its people would be treated with respect, or they would demand it with the full might of their carrier fleet behind them. The game of galactic politics was about to change forever, and humanity had just played its opening move. News of humanity's dramatic entrance into galactic politics spread rapidly through Council space. Within days, the Kraxan Empire, the Council's premier military power, dispatched their most decorated fleet commander to assess the situation. High Admiral Kexnar arrived at Nexus Station aboard the Imperial Hammer, a vessel the Kraxan considered the most formidable warship ever constructed. At 12 kilometers in length, it dwarfed most Council ships. But as the massive craft dropped out of hyperspace, even Kexnar had to admit it looked almost modest beside the UES Archimedes. Fascinating design philosophy, Kexnar observed, studying tactical readouts of the human carrier. His segmented carapace clicked softly as he moved closer to the display. They've prioritized internal space over traditional armament placement, either extremely confident or extremely foolish. Neither, Admiral, his tactical officer responded. Latest intel suggests those vast internal spaces house automated manufacturing facilities. They can reportedly produce combat craft faster than we can shoot them down. Kexnar's mandibles twitched in irritation. The Kraxan had maintained military supremacy for centuries through overwhelming firepower. The idea of a species pursuing a completely different strategic doctrine was unsettling. On the Archimedes, Admiral Chen received the Kraxan commander's request for a joint military exercise with practiced calm. "They want to test us," she told her senior staff. "The question is whether they're truly interested in our capabilities or if they're looking for weaknesses." "Both, most likely," Captain Wei offered from his tactical station. "The Kraxan aren't subtle. Their historical records show they challenge every new spacefaring race this way. Those who fail usually end up as client states." Chen's expression hardened. "Then we'll give them a demonstration they won't forget. Prepare Battle Group Delta for the exercise. Inform the Kraxan we accept their challenge." The exercise would take place in the Helios sector, an uninhabited system perfect for large-scale fleet maneuvers. The Kraxan arrived with an impressive force. 30 capital ships led by the Imperial Hammer, accompanied by over 200 support vessels. Humanity's response was more modest in number. The carrier UES Prometheus, accompanied by 12 destroyers. The size disparity between the fleets caused much amusement among the Kraxan observers. "This is what they consider a battle group," Kexnar scoffed. "Perhaps we overestimated their capabilities after all." The exercise began with a traditional scenario. Fleet vs. fleet combat at medium range. The Kraxan deployed in their famous crescent formation, weapons charged and fighters launched. They expected the humans to adopt a defensive posture given their numerical disadvantage. Instead, the Prometheus surged forward, its massive hull seeming to shimmer as hundreds of launch bays activated simultaneously. What emerged wasn't just fighters, but entire squadrons of automated manufacturing ships. These mobile factories immediately began producing combat drones, even as they maneuvered into position. "By the Emperor's claws," Kexnar's tactical officer breathed. "They're creating an entire fleet in real time." Within minutes, the space around the Prometheus swarmed with thousands of drones and fighters, all coordinating with an efficiency that bordered on precognition. The human destroyers, far from being simple escorts, revealed themselves as carrier control nodes, each managing hundreds of automated units. The Kraxan fleet found itself facing not just the original human ships, but an ever-growing swarm of combat craft that adapted their tactics with each engagement. Traditional targeting systems struggled to keep up with the constantly shifting battle space. Impossible, Kexnar muttered as another wave of drones overwhelmed his outer defenses. Their production rate exceeds our entire sector's shipbuilding capacity. The exercise ended decisively when the Prometheus demonstrated its coup de grace, a massive electromagnetic pulse that temporarily disabled the Imperial Hammer's primary systems. In a real battle, Kexnar's flagship would have been helpless. An impressive showing, Kexnar acknowledged in the post-exercise conference, his pride warring with military pragmatism. Though such tactics seem unconventional, humanity learned early that we couldn't match the industrial capacity of established empires, Chen explained. So we developed ways to bring our factories to the battlefield instead. Every carrier is a mobile industrial base, capable of producing and adapting its complement based on tactical needs. The implications weren't lost on the Kraxan commander. Traditional fleet doctrine relied on lengthy supply lines and fixed production facilities. The humans had made their entire industrial base mobile, protected it with overwhelming force, and developed automation systems to manage it all. As Kexnar's ship prepared to depart, he found himself troubled by a new thought. What if the humans hadn't actually shown their full capabilities? What if this demonstration, impressive as it was, had been carefully calculated to show just enough power to demand respect, while keeping their true strength in reserve? The exercise had proven one thing beyond doubt. Humanity would not be easily subjugated. But for some within the Kraxan Empire, this realization would not lead to acceptance, but to fear, and fear often led to rash decisions. The game of galactic politics was about to enter its next phase, and the stakes were higher than ever. The galaxy held its breath in the weeks following the Kraxan military exercise. But the first real test of humanity's carrier doctrine came from an unexpected direction. A massive surge in pirate activity across the Outer Rim colonies. They're testing our response capabilities, Admiral Chen concluded, studying the tactical display aboard the Archimedes. Red markers indicated simultaneous attacks on 17 different colonial systems. The timing is too perfect to be coincidence. The Kraxan, Captain Wee suggested, though his tone indicated he already suspected the answer. Almost certainly, using proxies to probe our real-world combat effectiveness. Chen's expression hardened. Well, if they want a demonstration, let's give them one they won't forget. Initialize Operation Thunderstrike. Within hours, 3 carrier battle groups deployed from Earth's defensive sphere. Unlike the measured display at the military exercise, this time humanity showed what their carriers could really do. The UES Prometheus, Archimedes, and newly commissioned Galileo each took responsibility for a sector of space. As they dropped out of hyperspace near their assigned colonies, their true capabilities became apparent. Aboard the Galileo, carrier commander Maya Patel watched her tactical display light up with thousands of signatures as the automated manufacturing systems spun up to full capacity. Launch primary defense screens, she ordered. Begin production of Mark VI interceptors and Aegis-class defense platforms. The carrier's massive internal factories hummed to life. Launch bays cycled continuously as waves of automated defensive platforms emerged, creating an expanding sphere of protection around each threatened colony. Simultaneously, swarms of interceptors deployed to engage the pirate vessels. What the pirates, and their hidden Kraxan observers, hadn't anticipated was the adaptive nature of human combat systems. Each engagement provided data that was instantly analyzed and fed back into the manufacturing coup. Within minutes, the automated factories were producing counters to specific pirate tactics and weapons. Remarkable, murmured Kraxan observer Vextil, watching through long-range sensors as the human carriers systematically dismantled the pirate fleets. Their response time is unprecedented. Every time our associates adapt their tactics, the humans have a countermeasure deployed within minutes. The true shock came when the carriers began coordinating their operations. Rather than treating each colonial defense as a separate engagement, they created an interlocking network of automated defenses. Swarms of drones and interceptors flowed between systems through micro-jump corridors, reinforcing each other with perfect timing. "Sir," Captain Wei reported to Admiral Chen, "the Galileo reports their sector is secure. Commander Patel has established automated defense networks around all colonies in her jurisdiction. The Prometheus reports similar success in the Antares sector." Chen nodded, watching as the last pirate vessels in her own sector were systematically disabled or destroyed. "Excellent. Begin Phase 2. The carrier's manufacturing bays shifted production from defensive platforms to maintenance and reconstruction drones. Within hours, repair operations were underway on damaged colonial infrastructure. Medical ships, prefabricated emergency shelters, and supply vessels, all manufactured on-site, deployed to affected populations. They're not just defending the colonies, Vextil realized with growing alarm. They're rebuilding them. In real time, with locally produced resources. The implications weren't lost on the Kraxan observers. Humanity's carriers weren't just warships or mobile factories. They were complete industrial bases capable of not only winning conflicts, but immediately repairing any damage caused. The psychological impact on local populations would be enormous. Humans didn't just protect their colonies, they ensured they bounced back stronger than ever. As Operation Thunderstrike concluded, Admiral Chen composed a brief message to Earth Command. Colonial defense networks established. All pirate forces neutralized. Reconstruction operations underway. Estimated time to full colonial recovery, 72 hours. She added a personal note. Observer vessels detected at extreme range in all sectors. Message delivered. The message had indeed been received. In the Kraxan High Command, urgent debates erupted. Some argued for immediate military action before human technology spread further. Others counseled caution, pointing out that the demonstrated capabilities suggested humanity possessed even more powerful technologies in reserve. But in a secure facility deep within Kraxan space, a radical faction was already preparing for what they saw as the only possible response to this new threat. If humanity couldn't be contained through proxy warfare, then more direct measures would be necessary. The next move in this dangerous game would be played soon, and the stakes were about to become exponentially higher. The attack came without warning. A radical faction within the Kraxan military, led by Commander Zexkar, launched a massive assault on human space. Their strategy was based on a desperate gamble: strike hard and fast enough to overwhelm humanity's production capabilities before their carriers could respond. Multiple hostile signatures detected, announced the AI Defense Network. Kraxan War Fleet emerging from hyperspace at coordinates spanning sectors 7 through 13. Estimated vessel count, 3,000 plus. In her quarters aboard the Archimedes, Admiral Chen was already moving before the first alarm finished sounding. Status of the home fleet. All carriers report ready. Captain Wei's voice came through clear and urgent. The Galileo and Prometheus are moving to defensive positions. The Damascus and Alexandria are recalling their patrol groups. Chen reached the bridge as tactical displays illuminated the scale of the Kraxan assault. It was larger than anything their intelligence had predicted. Nearly half of the entire Kraxan battle fleet committed to a single overwhelming strike. They're trying to saturate our response capability, Chen realized. They think if they spread us thin enough, we won't be able to manufacture countermeasures fast enough. A grim smile crossed her face. Time to show them what our carriers can really do. The first wave of Kraxan ships struck the outer defense platforms, expecting to overwhelm them quickly. Instead, they found themselves engaged by swarms of autonomous defenders that seemed to anticipate their every move. Each destroyed platform was replaced by 2 more, manufactured and deployed from nearby hidden facilities, a defense network that had been quietly building and preparing for months. But the real surprise came when humanity's carriers engage. All carriers, execute Protocol Omega, Chen commanded. Authorization Chen Alpha 70. Throughout human space, massive carrier vessels began to transform. Vast sections of hull plating shifted and reconfigured, revealing previously hidden manufacturing bays and launch facilities. The carriers didn't just begin producing combat craft, they began producing smaller carriers. Impossible. Zexkar snarled from his flagship as new tactical data flooded in. Their carriers are building carriers. Indeed, each human supercarrier was deploying what they called tactical response carriers, smaller but still formidable vessels that combine manufacturing capabilities with enhanced mobility. These vessels, pre-designed for rapid construction and deployment, began appearing by the dozens, then hundreds. The Kraxen's carefully planned assault quickly devolved into chaos. Their forces had been arranged to counter traditional carrier tactics, waves of fighters and drones. Instead, they faced an exponentially growing fleet of carrier vessels, each one capable of analyzing battlefield conditions and producing exactly what was needed to counter Kraxen's strategies. "Sir," Zexkar's tactical officer reported, mandibles clicking in distress, "we're detecting new weapon signatures. The human vessels are manufacturing technologies we've never encountered before." The officer's report was cut short as the Archimedes demonstrated another carefully hidden capability. A massive energy pulse erupted from the carrier's bow, creating a localized disruption in spacetime. Kraxen ships caught in the effect found their shields and weapons suddenly operating at fractional efficiency. Status report, Chen demanded as the battle entered its third hour. "The Kraxen fleet is in full retreat from sectors 8 through 11, Wei reported. Their remaining forces are attempting to consolidate in sectors 12 and 13, but the Damascus and Alexandria have them contained. Tactical response carriers are maintaining pursuit of scattered enemy elements." The scale of the Kraxen defeat was becoming apparent. Their supposedly overwhelming force had been not just beaten but systematically dismantled. Worse, humanity had revealed technological capabilities that rendered much of Kraxen military doctrine obsolete. "Send a message to the Kraxen High Command," Chen ordered. "Inform them that their forces have violated council law by launching an unprovoked attack. However, we are willing to accept their immediate surrender and discuss terms." As the message was transmitted, Chen studied the tactical display showing the retreating Kraxen ships. The radical faction's gambit had failed spectacularly, but she knew this wouldn't be the end. The galaxy's power structure had been irrevocably altered, and the aftermath would reshape interstellar politics for generations to come. In the ruins of the battlefield, human repair drones were already at work, collecting debris and beginning the process of reconstruction. The message was clear. Humanity could not only win wars, but instantly begin healing the wounds of battle. It was a capability that would prove crucial in the days to come. The next phase would require all of Chen's diplomatic skill. Managing the aftermath of victory could often be more challenging than the battle itself. In the weeks following the failed Kraxen assault, the galaxy experienced a fundamental shift in its political landscape. The Galactic Council chamber, once dominated by the towering figures of established powers, now buzzed with a new energy as humanity took its place at the table. Admiral Chen stood before the full council, her uniform bearing new medals that reflected humanity's recent victory. But it was not a triumph she had come to discuss. "The Kraxen Empire's radical faction has been contained," she reported to the assembled delegates. "Their leadership has been arrested by their own government, and moderate voices have taken control. We are now prepared to discuss the terms of lasting peace." High Counselor Zixtal leaned forward, his crystalline form refracting light in patterns that suggested intense interest. "And these terms, Admiral, given your decisive victory, many expect humanity to demand significant concessions." Chen's response surprised the chamber. "Earth requests only 3 things: recognition of our sovereign space, fair trade agreements, and the establishment of a mutual defense pact open to all council races." The chamber erupted in murmurs. The Meridian representative's voice cut through the chaos. A mutual defense pact. After demonstrating such overwhelming military superiority, Precisely because of that demonstration, Chen replied. Humanity didn't develop our carrier technology to dominate the galaxy. We developed it to ensure our survival. Now we offer to share that protection with others. The implication slowly dawned on the assembled delegates. Humanity wasn't seeking to replace the Kraxan as the galaxy's military superpower. They were offering to become its shield. Aboard the Archimedes, now in orbit around Earth, Captain Wei reviewed the latest reports. The carrier's manufacturing bays were being reconfigured, shifting from military production to humanitarian and scientific applications. Similar transformations were happening across the human fleet. The first trade delegations have arrived, he informed Chen upon her return. The Meridian Collective is particularly interested in our automated manufacturing systems. They've offered to exchange their quantum communication technology. Chen nodded, watching through the bridge viewport as alien ships moved freely through Earth's space lanes. And the Kraxan. Their new government has accepted our terms. They're already implementing reforms to their military doctrine. Several of their ship designers have requested permission to study our carrier designs. The aftermath of the battle had revealed another aspect of human innovation. Their carriers weren't just platforms for war, but versatile engines of creation. The same systems that could produce swarms of combat drones could also manufacture medical supplies, build infrastructure, or support scientific research. In the following months, humanity's influence spread not through force, but through cooperation. Human carriers became a common sight throughout Council space, responding to natural disasters, supporting colonization efforts, and protecting trade routes. The feared weapons of war had become tools of peace. The Kraxan Empire, humbled but not broken, found itself evolving. Their military expertise, combined with human innovation, led to new forms of cooperation. Joint exercises became opportunities for cultural exchange rather than displays of dominance. 1 year after the battle, Admiral Chen stood in the newly constructed Terran embassy on Nexus Station. The view from her office showed dozens of ships from various species moving through space, including several new carriers built through international cooperation. "Did you ever imagine it would turn out like this?" Wei asked, now wearing the insignia of a full admiral himself. Chen smiled, watching a Kraxan diplomatic vessel dock alongside a human transport. "We spent generations preparing for war, building our carriers in secret, always expecting conflict. Instead, we found something more valuable, the chance to help shape a better galaxy." A message flashed on her terminal, another request for humanitarian assistance, this time from a distant colony world. Without hesitation, Chen authorized the deployment of a carrier group. "The universe is vast," she mused, "and filled with both wonders and dangers. But perhaps the greatest achievement isn't in having the power to overcome challenges, but in having the wisdom to know how to use that power," Wei finished. Outside, the stars shone on a galaxy transformed. Humanity's carriers had changed the balance of power, but not in the way anyone had expected. They had become symbols not of dominance, but of protection and progress. Mobile cities that brought help where needed and fostered cooperation between species. The age of isolation was over. The future would be built not through conquest, but through the combined strength of all species working together. And at the heart of this new era stood humanity's greatest creation. Vessels that could create rather than destroy, protect rather than threaten, unite rather than divide. The game of galactic politics had indeed changed forever, but the true victory hadn't come through force of arms. It had come through the realization that the greatest power lay not in the ability to win wars, but in the courage to forge peace.